Okay. Welcome, everyone. So I know that you guys have been recommended from your school counselor to come and have some family counseling. So I know from your school counselor, I know that there's been a change in y'all's relationships. Could you guys please tell me some more about that? Where would you like to start?
So I just recently graduated a few months ago. I had my bachelor's degree now. Unexpectedly, I had to move back home and I haven't found a job yet. During my college time, I made a choice to convert to Islam, and it hasn't settled well at home with my family. It's just been difficult for me.
So it sounds like you've had a lot of life changes. Going to college, have your bachelor's degree, and you decided to convert to Islam.
Yeah, and I had to move back home. I didn't really want to, but I had to.
And how's your relationship changed with your family members since?
Well, our viewpoints are just different. I was raised Christian, but it just isn't something I wanted. As I grew older and was of age, I decided to make my own decision and go a different direction, and it's just not being received well at all.
Not sitting well at all. Okay. So that's a pretty big life decision to make.
Yeah, it's just been really frustrating.
It's such a personal decision to make.
Right, and it's just I just feel alienated from everything, and it's been made pretty clear. And pretty soon, I have to move. I've been told I can't stay here any longer.
It's so hurtful to make such a personal life decision and to have your family members criticize you so much.
Yeah, it's been difficult. So I really don't even know what I'm gonna do here. And I still don't have a job.
You can see that you guys obviously look a little bit disconnected, everyone. Even though you guys are.
Oh, and it's been 2 months. We haven't even talked. I haven't talked to my mom.
You haven't spoken to your mom in 2 months.
This will be our first time, so it'll be interesting.
Mom, do you have any? Your daughter's converted to a different religion. I feel like she's made her choices. She's made her choices. She doesn't have to move out, but we're not gonna accept her decisions. And
No, I was told I had to go.
You were told you had to go. How? Because so you said that you felt like you've been told you had to move out, but then you say that she doesn't have to move out, but she can't stay here because she can continue with her decisions and we raised her a certain way, and I feel like do you see that from her viewpoint?
I see her viewpoint, but I feel like I should have that right. Like, we live in America, right? I have the right to freedom of religion, and that's just a choice I've made for myself, and I don't expect them to follow my choice. I have just like some respect of it, and not to be feeling so alienated.
Can you see how that affects her? Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I don't have a job. I don't really know what I'm going to do. This is my family. That's the only place I can turn to. And I'm being told I can't be here because of something I believe in. I just don't feel like that's fair. I don't agree with it. It's been very hurtful for me.
Feeling very torn in what you need to do. Sure. So I just graduated high school. I recently found out upon graduating that I was pregnant. So it's very big news for my family on top of everything else we've got going on. The last few months of school, I was not doing so well. I'm usually straight A's. I go to a private high school, and I have looked into going into college. Well, I did. But with my family, they've been arguing. My mom and dad argue a lot over my sister because they don't agree with her choices, and the fact that she's coming home has caused a lot of uproar in our house. So I kind of kept myself away from that just to distance things and not to have the pressure on me. And then coming and telling my parents I was pregnant wasn't as easy as I thought either. Especially with all of that, that was just one more thing. So it's caused a lot of issues between all of us. And then with my sister coming home, she's the closest person I have to me, and so of course I told her first, but it's been very interesting. It sounds like you both are experiencing a lot of changes. You both are experiencing opinions and views on decisions and things that have changed. You guys feel connected in that sense? I think for us, it kind of brings us closer together because we both have something to be against our parents with. But for our parents, it's just made communication amongst all of us very hard because we all distance ourselves from each other. Because the closer we get to each other, the more issues it causes. Because I sit in the middle and see mom's side, but I also see my sister's side.
It's like I've been to blame for her change in behavior.
You feel to blame for your sister?
Right, and I haven't been here, but I feel like it's opened up her eyes to make maybe choices of her own and not expected choices, but I feel like it's been, I feel like it's been told to me or made me feel like it was my fault. And I don't think that part's fair. She's her own person, making her own choices.
And you feel that your sister's new behavior is being blamed on you for the choices that you made?
Mm-hmm.
And you feel like you're taking all the blame on her?
It's what they're looking at it as it's opened up a new door, and it's allowed her to now kind of have some of her freedom, maybe sooner than maybe I got mine. Yeah, and I don't think that's fair. We're two individuals, and I think we need to be treated as such. Mm-hmm. And vice versa for her, my choices shouldn't impact how she gets treated either. I don't know if she feels that you feel like you've been treated differently. I kind of feel like I have. I feel like our parents just feel like we've gone completely against like the Christian views. Like our parents are so wrapped up in Christianity as a whole, and their views are so traditional that it's hard for any of us to even be open with each other because we can't even like be in the same room without looking at each other disgusted because our parents feel like we've done things that like are so unlike Christian like, and so it's almost like they're embarrassed. Like we can't go to church with them because they have a pregnant kid. I don't go to church. I don't go to church anymore. I've made that decision. That's been something that wasn't anybody either, but that's just a decision I've made.
So you have been very disconnected and supported and almost unloved by your parents because you're not wanting to go to school anymore, not being pregnant and religion and all of your values.
Yeah.
How do you view your relationship with your sister now? Well, we were very close, growing up. And her going off to college, that was a lot. And, learning that she changed her religion. It was a big thing, and I'm not familiar with that religion as well as I should, but, it was something unexpected, and, accept that. You're fearful of that unknown of the religion. How it's different from the Christian religion.
Well, I am open to discussing it, but it's just not even up for discussion. It's pretty much just blocked out completely, so that makes it difficult to relate or discuss. And it's like we just butt heads because I'm set in how I feel, and my parents' family is set in a different way. So, yeah, she probably doesn't know a lot about it, but the fact that we haven't talked in 2 months doesn't help that either.
Do you feel disconnected from your children?
I do. I wish we all had a better understanding, and maybe our communication is not as good as it needs to be, and that's partly, my fault, I feel like. But I'm willing to, listen.
You're open to hearing her story about, you're open to hearing her point of view about why she wants to change her religion and why she doesn't want to practice being a Christian anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You are? Mm-hmm. What makes you think that you're open to that?
Really seeing how far this has gotten, and,
You haven't talked in 2 months.
right, and, I don't want this to be what tears us apart. We're a family, I love my girls, so I want to be able to get past it, and I know we can, but I know it's going to take time.
Do you see them as being equal, or do you see them as being, do you see that one is having more concern in your eyes or less? Or equally concerning?
Equally concerning for different reasons, but equally concerning.
Or do you see you as being a primary concern?
Yeah, I think that because I'm the oldest, the expectation, I didn't live up to expectations, and then that filters down to the younger sibling, which would be my sister, to, there was a bar set, and I didn't quite get it, so it's like I'm being viewed as the bad one, so I'm being told to leave so that they can maintain their values the way they want them to be. Yeah, I do feel like it's more geared towards me.
I feel like that since you've been gone, you feel like it's geared for you because you're not home all the time. But being at home and being the one who has to deal with mom and dad on a regular basis, you don't see like how much they talk about how they miss you and how they want you home and how they want you to be there and how they wish you were there.
How they want me to be there. They're not willing to accept me for who I am now.
Right, exactly. But then even after like telling mom and dad that I was pregnant, and like they never once said it was because of you. They said, "Oh, great, now we have another issue on our hands," but it was never like a you thing. It was a great. This is just more to add to all the other bad things we have going on.
How did you feel?
Yeah, that's a trigger for me. That lets me know that it's just it's added on, so it wasn't. So I was the start. Again, it still makes me feel like I started something that's going downhill, and you're taking it and going further with it. But I started this pattern. It was because of me that they're feeling that way, and the fact that they don't want me to be there anymore, they just don't. I feel like they don't want me to be exposed to you, and I don't think.
Well, they don't want me there either. That's why I haven't been coming home.
Yeah, but I'm the adult. I'm older, so because of that, I feel like they're still responsible for you because you're a minor. So being that I'm not anymore, I'm on my own, and I feel like you still have time to where you could foster that relationship with them. I've been told I can't be there. That's hurtful to me.
You're feeling like you are adding to this problem, and that makes you feel really hurtful. That's hurtful too. And you guys have this in common together, yet you still feel like you're having this.
I do.
Do you feel that way? Do you think that she started this problem and then Savannah coming in is making it worse?
Well, I mean, it's two separate issues, but yes, it's a lot to take in as far as, one dealing with our own emotions about it and figuring things out on how we feel, I feel like obviously I wanted, them to be happy and to do great in life, and I guess the way things are right now is not necessarily the way I guess I had pictured. And it's kind of hard to adjust, to that, and I think struggling with that has definitely caused some tension between everybody. But I still want what's best for them, you know, and we can obviously see that what we think is best is different in everybody's opinion.
Can you maybe give us some insight on why you think, like, what ideally should
Well, I mean,
based on your
when I was raised, you know, Christian all my life, and I married a Christian, and we raised them in a Christian home, and, you know, I guess it's different with other religions, and, you know, the way they believe, the way they conceive. You know, we may not know a lot about it, but I feel like, you know, I guess I just never expected anything different. It wasn't something I really thought about. It wasn't something I raised in thinking, well, what if they, you know, converted to another religion, went down a different path. It was just something I guess that's why it's so hard, because this is new. This is different.
She's saying outside of the normal of what you've been growing up with and how you decided to live your life, having you imagining your child getting pregnant at a young age and not attending college like they were supposed to, and her going off and going to college and graduating yet not getting a job and deciding to change her religion. All that's really affected you.
Yeah, but, you know, I really feel like we could work through it and things could, you know, be better. You know, I don't want us to all fall apart.
Right. Because you two haven't communicated for 2 months. Right. And you guys' relationship is strained as well. Because you're not coming home all the time. And you're not doing well in school anymore.
Yeah. Well, I feel like our mom just doesn't understand. Like, she says she understands, but she just, like, doesn't get it. Like, she doesn't see that, obviously, my sister made a choice. She wouldn't make the choice for no reason. And then, not that me getting pregnant was planned, but I feel like we have a hard time relating because she just, like, can't get past the fact that that wasn't supposed to happen. And, like, how it might make us look to the outside, like people we go to church with now. So
I think your mom's concerned more for how she looks on the outside.
Yeah, as if like maybe she's like ashamed of us.
Okay. So it sounds like you guys are having conflicting. You both are saying that you guys butt heads. She's ashamed of you guys in public. You can't be out with her in public. But then you're saying that you're willing to change. You're willing to get past this and you want to put that communication. So I'm hearing 2 different things. And I think that we need to talk about how we can improve communication. And cause it sounds like you guys were really close at one point as a family, both sisters and with your parents. And it sounds like these problems, while they are your own individual problems, fixing the whole structure of the family and the foundation, and how you guys communicate, and how you give each other's boundaries and relationships with each other will help to fix the problems that you guys are experiencing and your own individual concerns as well. Because if your decision to change to an Islamic faith, if your family was okay with that, then you would have, or if they were willing to accept how they view it towards you, then you would be okay with that. The same thing with you. If your mom and dad were okay with you guys being, if you decide that maybe going to college isn't for you, but maybe getting a job or something else, would that be less of a concern?
You know, I wanted her to be able to graduate and go to college. That's something that, you know, she's always talked about, and, you know, being a father was away from her. Obviously, I understand child is going to be put her on a different path. You know, and I hope that she will continue to try to go to college. But you know, I understand that there's going to be a child involved, and regardless of how her father and I feel and what we wanted, that you know, she's obviously going to have to support the child, and getting a job is something that she will definitely need to do.
And you guys are all willing to help with her having the baby.
Getting her father on board is definitely going to be a concern.
Getting her father on board.
I feel like, you know, I let him down by not being on board with what he is, you know, and it hurts him that, you know, this is all going on.
So he's feeling the same way that you are, afraid of the unknown. So it seems like there needs to be some talk about boundaries and how they will function in the family, such as, it seems like right now, since we're in counseling and we're talking about it, that you're open to her practicing whichever faith that she wants eventually, I guess, if there's.
I would like to learn more about, you know, the Islamic religion, and why she chose to convert. You know, that's what, you know, I'm curious about. What changed her? What happened in her life at college that would make her make decisions like that, and understand that more of how and why. You know, maybe I'll be a little bit more understanding of that whole thing.
Okay. So you want to know a little bit more about the reason why she decided to convert, and also just a little bit more information just about the religion in general and how it's different from your views. What do you think? How do you think about helping her to understand maybe?
I can help her understand. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think that will help her to, if she's willing. I just didn't feel the willingness from her prior to now. So if she's willing, I'd be more than happy to talk about it.
You said, do you think that you're, like, later on throughout these sessions and in general, you're just willing to be more open because
I'm willing to be more open, but you know, I don't want I'm more willing to understand and to be more open to understanding and accepting. But our religion hasn't changed. You know, our way. You know, and
I guess, can I say something? I want her to maybe understand that her way is not the only way. There's multiple ways. So with that being said, I don't feel like in my opinion, don't have to defend my way. And I feel like that's kind of what she's looking for is a defense. And I think that just concerns me, that part of it. I just want to be able to say, explain it, but I don't know that I want to have to defend it.
It seems like there's still a tension about having that. While she may be accepting and hearing it, you're not wanting to defend it because you feel like you don't have to.
Well, I can explain it. I just don't want to live in defending it going forward. Because it is, and maybe it's best that I do leave so that I can practice it full-heartedly how I want to, and I don't impact their practices. Because obviously I can't be a part of their practices because I no longer want to do that, and I've stopped. So for me, I'd like to learn more and be more involved in this Islamic faith, and being separated may be the better thing. The more that I'm sitting here thinking about that, separating myself may be the key to keep be in a relationship together, even at a distance versus in one spot.
Moving further away and being away from your family.
Just separating that portion of it, I think that will let me have my independence to practice freely without being condemned or judged or criticized or explaining. Or to take away, it's obviously they're ashamed of me right now, and I don't want them to have to live in shame. But on the other side of that, I don't feel like that's fair either. I feel like they should support me as their child, and whether the shame part should not be there because it's not. I'm still a child regardless of if I'm still a person, and I feel like I have that right to be a part of the family as I am, not how they want me to be.
I'm feeling very conflicted because you can either move away and be able to fully practice your Islamic faith. You might end up losing that relationship with your family, or you could stay there and hide your religion from them and not be true anymore to yourself, while probably not being as close to them because you're distancing yourself internally.
Yeah, because I think physically I would obviously be present, but I couldn't attend functions, or I would choose not to. It's not that I couldn't, but I don't want to. So then I'll be left out of things that they may want to do. And vice versa, I couldn't invite them, and I'd love for mom to come to the mosque with me, and we can just so I can show her and explain and just go through some different things that I have enjoyed doing. And that doesn't mean she has to like it, but just to kind of see my side of it and what it looks like from that lens.
Just see how she feels conflicted and what to decide to do.
Yeah, it's nice to see how it can she feels about that. It will take time to get to that point, but I'm not going to say that I won't be in the near future willing to do that. It's like I said, it's something that I've learned more of. I'm not familiar with it, so I feel like I've heard things of it, and I guess that's what makes me worried for her. But talk about.
Because right now it seems like you guys, both you and your husband, are weighing the love for your children versus your values and how you view the community. Do you see that, or do you see how you might be choosing how you view on the outside as to how you view your children and how you care about them? Sounds like we're all going through some struggles. How do you feel about your sister moving away?
First usually I think it was really hard for mom because like we all were really close. It was hard for me, but we kept in pretty good communication through all of it. I knew about my sister's choice to change her religion and her faith long before my parents knew. And I support it. I feel like kind of the same way my sister feels. She should be able to choose what she wants to do. Just like, I guess for me, I didn't choose to get pregnant, but I chose to leave school. I chose, which is completely not like me, but there was just so much going on at home. Like, there's no way I could focus on school. Like, that was the last thing in my, forefront. But I feel like my sister has the right to be out of my family because they should be accepting of her just as much as they should be accepting of what I've got going on. I mean, even though it's not Christian-like to get pregnant and not be married, it's still a baby, it's still a kid, like it's still something I'm gonna have to raise. So I feel like in that they should be accepting. But I also see, I guess, where my mom's coming from because I did have plans to go to college. I did have plans, but it's not something I can't ever do. Like I know I can go back to school. It might be harder, I guess, when you have a kid. But
do you see that she can continue and education. So there's a problem of you not going to school and going to college because there's this child that's coming soon. But there's other ways to deal with that, and it sounds like you already know that you would like to continue getting an education even after having a baby.
Yeah, I want to keep going to school. I don't know, 'cause I never knew what I wanted to do anyways. But I feel like I have time to figure things out while the baby's getting here, and then once it's here, maybe I can't jump into school, but I want to go back to school. Like, I can't just not finish. But I know it's going to be hard. If I don't have support from my family, I'm definitely not going to be able to do that.
You guys think that being on board with this pregnancy and helping her to get on her feet after would be beneficial to her to actually continue her education?
Yes, I'll support her. I don't necessarily, not okay with the decisions that she's made, but, we do need to move forward from them, and, I'm willing to be there and help her and support her along the way.
Do you see that being a goal she can attain?
Yeah, absolutely. She's always been one of the smartest, girls and best in her class, and I know she can do it. I know she can. If she sets her mind to it, she can do it. So I believe that.
You're very positive about I think that's possible.
Yeah, I feel like with everything going on with my sister too, like it's just a lot for our family to take in. And so it's like they're either arguing about what's going on with her or they're trying to figure out what the heck to do with me and they just like don't know. Like and it just causes like wedges either way we go. So I feel like if we don't address both of those problems, it's just gonna make all of us like separate from each other.
I also feel like addressing them, I do agree with that, but they need to be addressed individually for what they are, not combining them into one or blaming or finger pointing. And I feel like that's kind of what's been going on. And I hope that we can find different methods to keep them individual for what they are. Like my actions shouldn't reflect what my sister does, and her actions shouldn't reflect what I did or am doing. So just because I graduated doesn't make her any less that she's choosing not to do that yet. So I hope that we can keep them completely separate, because we're two separate people instead of combining it into one.
Okay.
Or that it's another thing, or that it's against the Christian faith, and that it's all clumped into all things not Christian. I don't think that's fair.
It sounds like you're feeling protective over your sister and having you take up for your own problems and her for her own as well. You're not overweighing her and causing her to get into her problems as well. It sounds like we need to. What I'm hearing is that you're willing to change and be more open-minded to this situation that's going on. These two situations. Well, actually three, because you guys are feeling like they're not being accepted into you guys. And that's causing y'all conflict. So ideally, how do you guys think that this family should be functioning? If you could picture it.
I would say kind of like what she said, that I feel like we should all be accepted as individuals, and I feel like the one thing that like kept us all the same for a while was the fact that we all grew up in the same household, and our parents thought we all shared the same values. But then when they realized that like we've gone other places and experienced things they haven't, that like we see things differently than they do. And so I feel like if we just continue addressing each other as individuals, like, okay, you might think that, but I think this, and to be okay with us thinking different things, but still being able to, like, be in the same house would be really beneficial. But I just don't know, like, how to get to that point where we can all just be like not on top of each other, like trying to defend our own.
It sounds like we need to address these problems individually at first. Is that what we're thinking? Yeah. How do you feel about addressing these problems individually?
I think that would be good if we can talk things through and see where we are and what we can do.
Yeah, I feel like our parents don't mean to compare us, but I mean, there's no way not to. Like, there's only two of us, so in that case, it's like, well, she's doing this and she's not doing this, but we're so different that, like, even just us, we're very different people. So it's just like, for our parents to understand that they don't have to group us together. Like, it's not because Pam's doing something, Savannah has to do it too, or, like, I feel like they just need to see it in that light. Like, that it's not, you can't compare us because we're not the same. Just like we shouldn't compare mom and dad as the same people because they're not the same person. And so even though we feel like they might be defensive or upset, not defensive, against what we're doing, like they still have their own individual views too, but we just don't know them because we can't even talk about them.
And I think maybe even finding things that we do have in common, I feel like those things they're kind of like we've lost sight of what we are as a family. So like common ground, things that maybe
some commonalities that you're saying.
I think throughout this we've lost sight of the things that we did enjoy and that had nothing, that just everyday things. We've lost sight of those because this has taken up such a chunk of time and effort and energy and chaos.
Because you guys were all together as a family before you went off. You guys were all practicing Christians. I know you're very present in the Christian community, and having that eliminated now is taking some of that. I think it's affected the whole family, but especially from your side of a lot from you, because you're alienated from the rest of your family.
Well, not only distance wise I've been gone, but even like coming back, it's just completely different. It's like we don't have fun anymore. We don't do things together that don't have to do with Christianity, pregnant, Islam. Like to leave that out and just enjoy just being
Together, yeah.
You all are still a family. You guys are sisters. You did have a close relationship with one another. And now it's being strained because of these different things that are happening.
Yeah, it kind of just makes me feel like I'm not good enough or I'm not a part of anymore. I definitely feel less than, and it's not a good feeling to feel that at what I'm supposed to be calling home.
When you think you know your girls and and then things change and it really gets the person, mother and father to thinking, not necessarily where did I go wrong, but how do I not know her? Just to adjust to learning more, learning new things. I think that's kind of hard, and that's where the understanding, not understanding exactly what's going on in their life and where did this come from, and that's hard to take in and adjust to. Something that I'm not, it may not be easy, but I'm definitely willing to.
Find her.
Well, I know her and she's my daughter. I've raised her, and
You're still wondering when did this happen?
right. Everything was, it kind of changed after going to college, and I know she's becoming her own person. And sometimes I guess when that happens and things don't, things are different than you kind of expected. It's hard to having a hard time kind of adjusting to it.
So it sounds like you're saying that you're having a hard time with this because you thought you knew them, and now things have happened.
Well, just
You're
like,
saying, yeah. You guys are both feeling the same way, probably, right? You thought that, you grew up in this loving household where everyone was accepting to you, and then things happen, such as you deciding to change your religion, and now you're being alienated, for the lack of a better word, shunned from your family for something that you believe in. And you're probably wondering, I thought that I would still be accepted.
From them of all people.
and I wouldn't want them to feel like, we didn't love them and we didn't want them in our lives, but, I guess there's just new things to learn about each other, and, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just, some things are a little easier than others, and it's just, more difficult to get past, but, I want us to be a family, I want things to be, how they were, and hopefully we can get back to them.
Do you feel that you also like this happened and
I'm a big for my parents. It was like, when did this happen? But I feel like it was something that's happening slowly. They just didn't see it because their focus was so much on my sister and like freaking out that like, one, she's coming home, but two, like, how are we even gonna like deal with that? That I was just so easily to like slip under the rug and like didn't have to like. My parents weren't as concerned about my whereabouts because they just assumed that like I was doing what I was supposed to because I always do what I'm supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like, especially like for my mom and my dad, that like me getting pregnant was such a shocker to them that it's like we talk about it and like we know it exists, but it's like I said, I felt like it was just one thing that just added on top of all the other like bad things we had going
Do you feel like it was just another addition to what was going on?
on.
But it was still a surprise to you that they were so unwelcoming.
Yeah, like I feel like my mom's first reaction was like, how could I do this on top of everything else we have going on? As if like I planned to make that happen. And just like being thrown in with the fact that like my sister's doing something bad doesn't necessarily mean that like I had to go and do something bad. Like I was doing my own thing by my own self. Like I wasn't with her doing these things. Like she didn't influence me. So it's just like treating it as if they were two of the same situations. They were both just bad, and we weren't addressing them as like individual situations. And that they don't have to be bad things. Like I feel like it's just all put in negative light, and it doesn't have to be negative.
I know you mentioned that you always, or you used to be such a perfectionist and then things change. What do you think made you change?
I feel like it's hard to like be perfect and be a perfectionist when like everything around you is falling apart and you can't keep those things together. So then how do you even like keep like schoolwork together? Like there's no way I can focus on school when I can't even do my homework at home because they're either arguing on the phone or my mom and dad are arguing. And then it's just so much easier to just be up like at a friend's house or hanging out with my boyfriend or doing other things besides being at home. Because like once my sister left, like we used to do family things together, but then it was just me. And then after my sister graduated, especially more recently, it's been like, well, she's coming home, she'll be home soon, and it's just been very chaotic. And it's just not fun to be in our house, so I just distance myself.
You're saying that the strain, you're feeling the strain from their relationship being not good, as well as your parents arguing as well.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I think it becomes. I feel like it's turned into it's my fault. Had that not happened, she would feel a strain, and then the trickle effect, it wouldn't have been that way. So I feel like I'm the culprit to cause the start of the pain and the problems in the household that leaks down to her not wanting to be there, and because of their interaction with me, have they taken it a little lighter, or went a different direction with it, maybe even been an example to show her, oh, there's change, but this is how we're going to handle this change versus arguing and yelling and screaming at me about it. That probably wasn't conducive to her lifestyle and made her unhappy and not want to be around. So I could see where the fault could be pointed at me because she's not, I don't want to take blame for it, but I could see where, I guess, defending her again to where she's not wanting to be in that. So she's doing anything out of character for her to not have to be a part of that, whatever that meant, whatever measure it took to be away from that. Even though knowingly those things weren't maybe things she particularly wanted to do, but it worked for the time being for her.
So it got her some alone time and away from all the problems. So it sounds like you're blaming yourself for her going and hanging out with her friends.
Yeah, I feel kind of bad for that part of it because, well, I don't know. I think my parents' reaction to me is really what causes the chaos, which in turn then makes her not want to be there. So I don't necessarily want to blame them, but I blame the fact of how things unfolded. Yeah, the reaction towards me. Because I stood my ground, they stood theirs, and it just wasn't, we weren't seeing eye to eye, and she happened to have to catch that on a regular basis. And her outlet was what she chose, what she had a choice with. I feel like she could have also just sat in it and took their side even and went against me too. And I don't really think she had a say either way. I don't think she really, because she knew all along what I was doing, so she wasn't as shocked. She was aware. Maybe it did give her time to be a different person of who she wanted to be or who she really was, instead of this person that they thought she was. Maybe she wasn't that perfectionist that maybe they posed her out to be.
So it still sounds like you guys are sticking up for each other, and even though you may not be close right now because you're away, but it sounds like you guys still have that connection as sisters. To be there for each other.
Yeah, and I feel like that's how it should be and it's supposed to be. And I guess in this situation, both these situations, I'm not feeling that from my parents at all. Like, I'm not feeling like them still, at the end of the day, we have you. Like, it's
Whereas
going to
with
be
her,
okay.
you do.
I feel like I do.
Do you feel like she has a strong relationship with him?
Yeah, because she's there. I don't know how things are going to be now for her so much going forward, but up until now, I think that she had a stronger relationship with them in the last 3 or 4 years than I have had. But then I think our relationship definitely got stronger because we were able to confide in each other because our parents weren't listening to they didn't want to hear what we had, or they weren't agreeing. It wasn't even that they weren't hearing; they just weren't in agreement. So we were able to confide in each other.
Do you feel that, regardless of what the situation may be, whether she changed her religion, she doesn't get a job, do you feel like you and your husband arguing about that and fighting with her about that has somehow caused the reasons behind Savannah's current problems?
I feel like the way we handled it, I can see how, things could have been a little different, can't say whether or not that would have happened regardless of that, but I do see how, we spent a lot more time on the issue of what was going on. And not really realizing how much, she was pulling away from us. Maybe if we would have noticed that a little bit more,
But they weren't. You know Savannah's feelings now. Do you think that how do you think you would handle such a situation?
Maybe not be so quick to be angry, try to be more understanding, try to maybe ask questions first instead of just, right, maybe go about things in different ways as far as finding out more about it. And maybe there wouldn't have been as much tension and that kind of thing.
Okay.
We did it!
I wonder if we were loud enough, Michelle. I feel like
I
at
don't think
times
I
we
like
were
that.
not.
Well, you're